All right, welcome back, everyone. This week's Pigeon Week being brought to you by Flowers. Hey, we can just about forget the garden center part, get on to the deer processing.
Yes, sir.
Deer season starts next Saturday here in the great state of Tennessee. It has already started in the other great state of Kentucky. Hey, our first picture. Let's go. I'm just going to read what this guy said. This is Robert Haley, and he said, Hugh, I took my brother Jason, his son Thomas, and yours truly, which is Robert Haley. We fished afternoon until the storms moved in. Then we caught several fish, and they had just started biting every cast as it was thundered. My son said, oh man, can't we stay? Great day, and the wilderness kayaks worked perfectly. Great way to fish on the Great Caney River. And just some awesome pictures there, Robert and them. They caught a bunch of smallmouth, red eye, and trout. And they snuck up on them with those wilderness kayaks. Hey, you can send your pictures to us here at the Southern Woods and Waters, 474 James Robertson Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee, 37219, or simply email them to me at hugh@southernwoodsandwaters.com. We'll get them on there really, really fast, and we appreciate those. I wanted to show them to you this week because I had Chad coming on, because, Chad, you sell wilderness kayaks.
Yes, we do. We sell them.
As a matter of fact, you're the kind of the... what do you want to say?
I'm the poster boy.
Yeah,
the
really.
Poster boy for Wilderness Systems kayaks. I think they.
Oh, the thought that just hit me, man.
They wanted a guy that could be on the kayak, and then anybody out there could say, "Well, if that dude can do it,
If that boy can,
then I can definitely do it." Yeah, we had a good week last weekend, and we Columbia, one of my sponsors, puts on a Columbia PFG, that's Performance Fishing Gear, challenge every year. They did it this year via social media, and the winner got to choose to pick any of the 5 big Columbia pros, myself, George Pomeramo, Bob Azumi, Conway Bowman, and decide who they wanted to go fish with. Well, he picked fishing with me. Obviously. I mean, why would you want to fish with any of those skinny dudes? Skinny dudes cannot fish.
They can't catch them.
They're not catching them. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
we like to see hook sets,
exactly.
brother.
Stretch some lips. You know what I'm saying? Rip some lips is the saying for the guys that just barely finger hook them. You know what I mean? Stretch some lips is when you get them down in the bone and you make them look like a different species.
Make your bottom jaw longer than their top.
So this Dr. 1, he was out of Arizona. He came out here for 4 days, and we got with the guys with Tennessee Moving Waters. They actually did it. I just showed up and looked pretty.
Nick and JG.
Nick and JG took them for some fly fishing on a creek that will remain nameless. It was loaded with smallmouth. Caught quite a few. Put a bunch more right in front of him that he had a little bit of a hook set problem, we'll call it. But we saw a lot of big fish.
You have that out west.
Yeah. So as the days are getting shorter, these smallmouth are really feeding aggressively in these rivers. That photo period's changing. The water temperature's starting to drop down a little bit during the night. They realize the winter's coming. They're starting to feed up. Kind of like me and you.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the striper are really aggressive. It's kind of like their last run before they head back to the rivers. Yep. Head back to the lake up in Caney Fork, and we find some choke points and some narrow get-togethers. Use the kayaks to float down the river until you get to these funnels. Nick has got this down with T and Moving Waters, and we got the guy in there, and probably 30, 40 casts. He got one that was 41 inches. It was a tarp, it was a recognition program fish. 41 inches, about 37 pounds on the boga. And then he fished for about another 45 minutes to an hour and got another one that was 37 inches and probably in that 31, 32 pound range. It was hard to tell with the scale. It was a little bit over 30 pounds, but not much. And
he went back west with a big smile on his face, didn't he?
Nick took him up to the Caney and put him on some browns. He hooked up a monster brown and lost it at the side of the boat. All in all, what the last couple weeks on the waters told me is that everything's getting ready. Everything's not quite in that oh my gosh mode. They're not killing it, but they're getting ready. They're on the sideline stretching.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I've been fishing the coves around the house and hitting the water. It's so hot that I've only been going an hour, hour and a half. But what I'm finding out is every time I go there, they're hitting when they're peak feeding times and there's a lot of activity on the surface and wading birds are out there looking, they're hitting those spinner baits. They're hitting that scatter shad from Taylor Mann's. That thing has been hot as fire. Really small square bill crankbaits and a jig when everything slows down right now can't be beat with a soft plastic trailer on the back of it. And so this is the time of year I get jacked up. Hunting season's coming, so you're going to be able to hunt in the morning, fish in the middle of the day, hunt again in the evening, and then fish all night. You know what I'm saying?
I got a buddy of mine, Farrell Wilson. I'll mention his name because he says the Grand Slam, the ultimate Southern Grand Slam, is kill a buck in the morning, go ahead and catch a smallmouth right after that, down a couple of wood ducks, and then late in the evening, sit back and cook them.
Yeah.
He said that is
and
your
eat some
Southern.
cornbread.
Yeah,
With
cornbread, home cornbread.
Yeah, skillet cornbread.
But I tell you what, so you're using spinner baits. What else you use? You said square bill, spinner baits, jig, any type of soft plastics whatsoever. Because I'm hearing some tubes are working right now too.
The small tubes, the micro tubes.
Yes.
There's a tube a guy named Jeff Little makes. It's a buddy of mine off of Susquehanna River is where he perfected this thing over in Pennsylvania, and his last name's Little, so he calls it the Little Tube, and it mimics these really small crawfish. Those crawfish that were juvenile at the beginning of the season, but are now very aggressively trying to put on a little bit of weight before they go in the ground.
Right.
And so there's really small crawfish, and I also think that those fish are turning mussels, and they're doing some of that stuff that's got their palate kind of sore, and so they can find them little small crustaceans. The other thing that's cool about that bait is you don't have to have a lot of weight. Or you can also drag it on a slip weight. You know what I mean? You can fish it all like I call it like a micro Carolina rig. You can bump it along the bottom, gives a little bit of clack. That fish sees the disturbance on the bottom, sees it kicking up silt, and then that tube is left there to get hammered. So I haven't been fishing plastics as much, man. I've been having most of my luck on that scatter shad. It's got a whole bunch of blades on it. It mimics a little small school of shad. A square bill crankbait that I put a suspend strip on the bottom so I can rip it and then get it to stop and just barely rise.
Oh, yeah.
And that real small riser, that pause, kind of like with a jerk bait when the water gets a little colder. And then a jig, man. And I'm downsizing my jigs, but I'm upsizing the plastic, so it's got a real slow fall.
There you go.
One thing I've been doing really well with is a jig with a Zoom horny toad cut in half. And threaded on there so it acts like a pork chunk trailer, except it's all plastic. Got them feet,
and it's got the feet
to slow the fall, and when it's sitting still, it's got some action. And when they pick it up, it's got that salt flavor. So that's been
a good one for you.
Yeah, it's been pretty deadly. Yeah.
All right, so where you got this weekend's going to be at Tim's Ford
in Winchester.
Okay. Yes, but y'all got other tournaments. I looked at the board and there's it's full of.
Go to kayakbassfishingtn.com and that's going to tell you about all of the tournaments that these guys are putting on. You can look up Kayak Bass Fishing TN on Facebook. You can look up Tennessee Kayak Anglers on Facebook, and you can look up the Chattanooga Bass Jackers on Facebook. All those guys are posting the events that they're having. They're posting the tournaments. You can go to Hook1, go to resources, and go to the events tab. That's kayakfishinggear.com. So go up to resources at the top and scroll down to the events tab, and we're cross-linking to all these events, so you know where to get out there. And you know what's cool about these events is you get to interact with other folks. You get to see how they're rigging their boats. You get to see the lures that they're using. You get to see the lures that they're catching them on. You get to hear the stories, and you become a better angler from sharing those stories and sharing that interaction. It's almost like fishing by committee. You know what I'm saying?
And I think kayak bass fishermen are more easily to talk to about sharing their ideas because they're not running 40 miles up the river.
Almost
they're right there.
Yeah. Almost too much.
Almost too much talk?
Almost too much. Some of y'all need to learn to
Is Ron Champion one of those?
No, Ron Champion's stone face. Don't smile.
He's poker face, right?
Stone face. Doesn't laugh, doesn't smile.
Doesn't share.
I mean, who in the South does smile? You know, the only person that smiles when they catches a 4-pound bass is a Yankee. You know what I'm saying?
What?
That's because they catch them once in their lifetime. We catch some things like
I get
you know
it
what
now.
I'm saying? 4-pound bass don't even register. You know, it's like
Just
that's what you
keep
call
me
a
off
flip.
film.
That's what you call a flip bass. You just
flip.
flip out and back in the water.
Okay, flip it.
Yeah, man.
No, I ain't fishing with him anymore.
I get to fish some cool places. You know, I'm spoiled.
You do.
I'm
I want to say, you really have connected with a lot of fine folks that allow you to come do these shows. One of them was Mossy Oak. I love the shows you did with Mossy Oak.
Man, I grew up in Louisiana, and some of the people that I know people that are good people and are connected people and people that have been blessed in their life with opportunities, and their companies have been successful. And, you know, I get a lot of grief about it sometimes. Oh, man, I could catch a big bass if I got to fish all them cool places. Go fish them.
Go fish them.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm not going to lie. It's not that we're lying or being deceitful, but sometimes on the show we'll just say we're fishing some private water. That way we don't get blown up on social media or my inbox on my email. You know, I'm still, you know, even though I'm on TV and I don't think I'm any kind of celebrity or anything, but I still got my phone number out there where people can call me.
Yeah.
You can still message me on Facebook. You can still email me. You still walk in the shop with me and talk to me on a daily basis. And if I put out somewhere where somebody has been gracious enough to invite me to come fish and it's their favorite honey hole and I'm putting it on national television, I'm doing them a disservice if I go, oh, this is, you know, right here.
Because they're going to wear his phone out.
Now, every now and then we accidentally put out misinformation. For example, we fished with this guy out of Alabama by the name of Shane Phillips. And Shane is country as cornbread. He's not country as cornbread. He's country as bullet holes in a stop sign. You know what I'm
okay, that's bad.
Well, Shane was telling our producer the name of the river. And the river's off of the Wheeler Lake system down in Alabama. Yeah. And he said, what lake is this? He said, oh, this is Whaler. And when they put it on the show, they put Whaler, W-H-A-L-E-R. And I bet you I got 75 Facebook messages from people asking me where the
Where's Whaler
River
Lake?
and Whaler Lake is in Alabama. But it was just a misunderstanding from miscommunication, that Alabama translation.
That Alabama slang?
Yeah, it's Whaler.
It's Whaler.
Not Whaler. So if you saw the show where I was flipping frogs on top of gators' heads, that was Wheeler Lake Complex. And I can tell you where we were fishing because ain't none of y'all going there because there's big old dinosaurs every 15 yards on the bank and we're in kayaks. Most people ain't going back there.
They're not going
But I was flipping frogs on their head and standing there walking them around, and we found some big ones, man.
But you and I grew up in that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, man.
You're Louisiana, I was on East Texas. We just grew up in that
We used to come outside in the morning sometime and there was a dog chain and a collar, but no dog.
No dog.
And there was gator tracks going the other direction, so
that's
part
right.
of it.
And it wasn't us. It wasn't us doing that.
No, it wasn't the chupacabra or the riggaroo either. It was a gator.
It was gator. But I tell you what, it's awesome though that we're blessed here in Tennessee. I really believe that we have some of the finest fisheries in the country, and they're all within. I would say everything's within 2-hour drive of us.
You know them signs and bumper stickers that say, I'm not a native, but I got here fast as I can?
Yeah.
Well, that's Tennessee for me.
That's Tennessee.
You know, I fished all over the country. I'm from Louisiana originally, lived in Georgia quite a bit of time growing up, joined the Navy from there, lived all over the country, and I kept crossroads through through Tennessee. I went to my A school training here over in Millington, right outside of Memphis, fell in love with it then. The beautiful thing about Tennessee is it is the northern range of the southern fish, and it's the southern range of the northern fish.
That's exactly
You can catch stripers and browns, and you can catch muskie, and then you can catch all the southern fish, and they get as big as they get anywhere here in both directions.
In both directions.
Awesome.
It is awesome. Hey, Chad, we got to do our product of the week, and this week, let me tell you what I do have. Now, I kept this refrigerated cooler for this because deer season's right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. And it just starts next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday for all those that are interested in deer hunting. And if you really want to carry your game on deer hunting to the next level, I want you to think about something. When you go into these discount stores, you see all the doe and estrus and this, and you know, I'm not going to name any names, but you know what I'm talking about. They're all over the shelves. Well, how long have they been there? And think about this. There is no does in estrus in the nation right now. Nowhere. So how are they getting it? Well, they probably stored it from last year is what probably happened, or they have that photosynthesis kind of thing where they trick them into thinking that it's time for them to be breeding. Any way that you say it, they're still putting in a product called sodium benzoate, which is a preservative. I want to tell you something. Why not use the real thing? And the way it comes to you on ice, not necessarily ice, but maybe an ice pack, but something that keeps it cold. And you can account these were cold, aren't they?
Yeah, they were freezing cold.
They are freezing cold. But it's J&S Sense. J&S Sense, and I want to show them to you right here. This is one. This is the opening day doe. Now all this is this is a doe urine. That's all it is. It is not estrus. It's just a simple doe urine. Okay. This is just to kind of calm them down or let them know there's a deer in the. There's another one. Here's one called Intruder Buck. Now this intruder buck is, of course, this is from a 2 to 3 year old buck, and it's brought in, and you can put it in around you, and that lets the bucks not right now are in their what we call bachelor groups, and so you're letting them know that there's another buck that they haven't seen in the area that might bring them on in to investigate just a little closer, might get you that extra bow shot. And then there's a new product that they've come out with, and I'm really excited about this. I'm going to get to use this, and it's called Chill Pills. And all this is it is different deer. It's from their farm. It's got feces matter, fecal matter. It's got urine. Everything's mixed up into this, and they made little bitty tablets-looking things. And they're refrigerated. They keep refrigerated. Now you can put them out. You can sprinkle them in your area. And that'll just give the deer an opportunity when they come in calm because they know there's other deer in the area. So that just helps you a little bit there. Remember, J&S Scents, and you can go see them at jscents.com, jscents.com. Tell them you saw it here on Southern Woods and Waters, or better yet, go through Southern Woods and Waters website, and you can check them out. And guess what? Hook1 in Hendersonville is going to be the proud distributor for them too. So check them out in Hendersonville. Hook1's going to have JS Scents. All right, we're going to take another break. Visit some more of our fine sponsors. When we come back, we're going to open up our phone lines, 737-7767. So get ready to call us. We'll see you right back with more of Southern Woods Water.
You might have cologne in the South, can't you?
Yeah, we can have cologne.
I like that for dating.